I first fell in love with theater, the Phantom of the Opera, in seventh grade. And oh, the chandelier. And I just saw it recently, and I realized it's a stalker kind of narrative, but I still love it because my seventh grader loves it. I've always wanted to be a writer since, like, when I was a little kid, I was writing poems, really bad, seventh grade again, really bad poems. And unfortunately, I still have them. And then it just kind of moved on from there. I sort of lost my way for a couple of years in college. And then when I got out, I found theater again. It came from being a kid to knowing I had to be a writer where I couldn't stop. You know, I just couldn't. It was like the stories were like, Elizabeth, why aren't you writing me? And then as I got older, and, you know, more life experience and more things have happened, the stories and that tap just got stronger and stronger. So there's a few lined up behind the one I just wrote. So I'll be working on those next. I found out about Breath of Fire. I was asked on a patio if I wanted to videotape some interviews for a grant about a story called The Mexican OC. And it was stories about Mexican Americans or other Latinos in Orange County. And I went from being a videographer to being one of the playwrights. And it was four of us, and we sat in a room, and we just wrote, brought our stuff back, wrote. And Breath of Fire was pretty new then. They'd only done a couple of readings, and it was just to my heart. I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in Huntington Beach, and I never felt like I fit in. And when I found Breath of Fire and I found Sarah, our artistic director, it was like love at first sight. And so I've been here ever since. The new play that I'm doing a reading of called Bottle Monster started actually maybe 12, 15 years ago. I'm not sure. And it just started, as it does for me, like a little voice came into my head, and I just started writing it, and then I'd write and put it away and write and put it away. And then a couple years ago, I took a playwriting class at South Coast Repertory with the beautiful and awesome Christina Leach. And, you know, Miss Christina, and she's just fabulous, and what snaps. And she's very encouraging. And I took this play in. I ended up getting rid of the first scene. It changed. It was friends. Sarah, our artistic director, suggested, what if they're sisters? And then a light bulb went off, and they became sisters, and I was able to go from there. And then I did, so I did that, and then I had a reading of it when it was called Something Different 2 years ago, and there was actually a male character. And then I had an opportunity to go to Creede, Colorado for the National Winter Playwright retreat, and that was in February, and it was with amazing playwrights. I was very insecure. Oh my God, these people are so accomplished. So I took my play, and so of course I was just writing before we went, because I chose to be the first one to go because I wanted to enjoy my time there and not be worried. And I had amazing feedback, and this is kind of what came out of the feedback. And then of course I decided to make a deadline for myself, because if I don't, I won't like really get scared and write. And I set the deadline for this reading, and I've just been writing ever since. Okay, so the main story, it's a story about addiction and alcoholism, but with a lot of inappropriate humor, because that's the way I write. And it's two sisters, Gabby and Anna. Anna is the main character. She's a semi-functional alcoholic, and she's falling deeper into her disease. Gabby is her sister, who is much more successful and grounded than she is, and is getting tired of rescuing Anna and has to decide if she's going to keep helping her sister or if it's time to let her go. At the same time, we have two other really fun characters, La Muerte, and I set up a whole nother reality where in hell, if hell had a corporate structure, and La Muerte is the #1 top sales in taking souls, and she has to take one more to win her game. But Anna's proven to be really tough to take. And then she has a boss, La Jefa, who if La Muerte doesn't take a soul, well, one, La Muerte's getting kicked down to telemarketing. I was a telemarketer. It is hell. And then La Jefa loses her position as well. So that's sort of the conflict. And La Muerte is spending the play trying to get Anna to lose her soul into alcoholism. Well, I want the audience to laugh at my inappropriate poems because they bring me so much joy. But maybe to think about alcoholism and addiction in a new way, not only not just the alcoholic, but how it affects the family, and maybe see some friends or family in a different light, or maybe themselves, and mostly just to enjoy the story. It's not, my play is not kid appropriate by any stretch of the imagination, which could be something that makes people really want to come, or some people who may not want to come. Yeah, so if you're not cool with adult language and adult situations, there's no nudity or anything like that, but it's still very adult. Why I need to use those words in my play? It's because it's fun. Oh, there's just a part of me, I wasn't allowed to use those words, so it's still like a little bit of rebellion, and either I like to hear the audience go or I like to hear them laugh. So it's usually one or two reactions, but the people who laugh are my people. The actors who are doing my reading are Jackie Bustamante, and she's a local actress. She's local as well. Also, Chanel Garcia, and she's also local. These are all either past or current ensemble members. And Luzma Ortiz, and we also have Angela Moore. 4-person cast. We got a stage, somebody reading stage directions. It's all Latinas. It's all, I also wrote roles, so it's really important for me to write roles for women 30 and older. So they're all roles for women who you know, got some life experience. So it feels, from in writing it to an actor performing it, it feels like magic. It does. It's like, we had a rehearsal last night and I heard it all, and I was sort of surreal looking down at the page. First, I wrote those words, because I don't know where it comes from a lot of ways. It's almost like you just sit down and the voices, for me, the voices are there and I just start typing. And then the editor comes in and I, work with the language, but it's magic. It's magic. And especially if you hear them laugh, but it's magic to hear actors read your words. It's just amazing. This is just one more stop. I'll start submitting, and it's always the playwright's dream to have a full production. But I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Whether even if the play doesn't go further than this, even though I hope it does, it's like playwriting and theater is sort of a magical experience, and I'm really grateful to Breath of Fire and to the actors just to make this happen, and just to hear the words as a playwright and go back and write more. The dream is always for it to go further, but the life that it's had so far, I'm extremely grateful for. The reading is free, and you can just come down. It's at the Grand Central Arts Center in Santa Ana, in downtown Santa Ana, and there's all sorts of yummy places to eat, and it's just kind of super cute right now if you'd like to come and see it and give Santa Ana a try. And it's a free, and thank God, Breath of Fire, we are a volunteer run organization, and we do our best to at least give stipends to our actors. We're all too old and experienced to do anything for free. That's our other goal is we offer free writing workshops and things like that, and it's free to the public, so they can just come and take them. But we do make sure that we at least give our teaching artists a stipend, because it's super important to money shows your value, unfortunately, but it does. It shows that our teaching artists are definitely valued to us, and we cannot pay them what they're worth, but we can pay them something. So you're supporting Breath of Fire when you come to these free readings, and you show our audience, and we can write more in our grants, how many people show up. So Orange County, Southern California audience have to come see it, because it's a local playwright. For those people of color who don't see themselves or their stories on the stage, you should come. There's inside jokes about Pasadena, so it's not even Orange County based, but it's Southern California. There's a few Southern California references, Huntington Beach references, that if you're from here, it adds another layer into the play that maybe you wouldn't know because you hadn't grown up in Southern California. Just come and see the show. It's free. Come and see us, learn more about Breath of Fire, hear very inappropriate poems, and enjoy a lot of bad If you'd like to find more about the play or Breath of Fire, you can go to www.breathofire.org. And we're also on Facebook as Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. It's very long, so we should pop up and you'll know it's us. But again, the website is breathofire.org. If you'd like to find more about the play or Breath of Fire, you can go to www.breathofire.org. And we're also on Facebook as Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. It's very long, so we should pop up and you'll know it's us. But again, the website is breathofire.org.